Hello nerds, today is meant to be Friday the 5th of April 2019, but it's not, because, well, it's not. Basically, to cut a long story short, I went to EGX, which is in London. I am not in London, so I had to travel to London, and I couldn't take my PC with me. The stuff that I took to record the meditations with didn't work properly. As a result, I could not record the full meditations, and I could not edit them. However, I did manage to get all the gameplay recordings, so what I'm going to do is talk over them and comment on them. So this game is the 95th game of the meditation games. This meditation was created by Daniele Giardini, and he's left a very short blurb for us, which I'll read out for you now. My mother was a teacher. She had a talent for getting her driving licence revoked, so for months at a time, I had to drive her. Very simple premise, so we'll now go into the game. Okay, so when the game starts, it shows you the brief controls. I cannot remember for the life of me what the spacebar does. It might be the it might be the brake. I really can't remember. But also, I apologise if you're listening. If you can hear the music over this, or if you're going to watch the gameplay only video after this. There is a lot of sort of juddering and cutting at the beginning. The music doesn't quite work. Again, it's the recording quality. I really can't apologise enough for that. But anyway, to the actual game. The game itself is very straightforward. If I remember correctly, it was holding up to move forward, and you just steered left and right. And you go over to the road. You go along this road, and you end up at this first checkpoint, which I believe is a school. I could be mistaken. And as you saw in the bottom screen, the woman figure gets out of the car and back in. She got up quite quickly and back in quite quickly. I'm to assume that that is the mother, and Daniel is the driver. The sort of John Lennon-looking fellow there. It's a stylish look, by the way. I have to admit, I really like the visual effect of this game. In another video, I don't think I bothered with this one. You can see me tempted. In another video, I went down a different route. It doesn't really make a difference. You end up back on the same track anyway. It was a bit pointless. But the driving itself it was perfectly fun. You know, it was comfortable to drive. The road's got these little weird ruts in, so you sometimes see me stray, like here, just straying off in completely the wrong directions because of the little bumps in the road. If you take them too fast, you just glide off. One thing that I really did like about the visual presentation of this game, though, was the sort of windscreen or side door, whatever it is, shot from one end of the car to the other, where you catch both their profiles. As you can see, her getting up of the car was a bit slower that time. Clock winds forward. I think it was another school, I'm not sure. And then back on the road. But if you have a look at what's going on behind those two, you see the landscape racing behind them. This is real time to what you're driving in. So if you, when you're not moving, it doesn't move. When you crash into things, you can see it's slowed right down. So you've got a view of either side of that car. Sort of the perspective coming in from this side. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see. You get the gist. Also worth noting, all of the little bumps and jumps impact the drivers in the car as well. Like, as you may have just seen then, their heads bob and shake to the movement of the car, which is a really nice little visual touch, especially for something that would have been made in like 6 hours, something that had to be hurriedly put together. That's either something that they've already designed and they've got it down pretty damn well, or just maybe it's a lot simpler to do than I think it is. But either way, it was a nice little visual touch to the game there. I really liked that. We're coming up to the third checkpoint now. There is a lot of colour and tonal changes that's happening in the meditation. I do not know what that symbolises. Things get sort of weirder, lighter, brighter. The colour does completely change throughout the journey. See another journey, and again, another time passes, and again, the passenger got out of the car slower and slower, gets back into the car slower and slower. This is the final route. This is where my initial recording completely died. This is much darker in tone. I don't know if it's meant to symbolise anything. I feel it probably is, but I don't know what it's saying other than perhaps this is a dark time, but it may not be that literal. It may not be hitting on the head that squarely. So I could be talking out my tutor there. Excuse me. Again, if you saw there, that sort of run up the road and the landing and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't think I've got much else to comment on this game other than what's about to happen. One thing I will say though is I really like the music in this game. I couldn't hear it when I was playing it in London. That bit was a real chore to drive up. Really hard slope, and you went really slowly up that slope. But yeah, when I was in London, I didn't really hear the music that was going on, but when I just pulled this video footage up to comment over it, the music was playing quite well, and I was like, oh wow, that was really cool music. So I did like that. But as you see, at the end here, we have pulled up to a different building. This has the hospital, the Hospitalia cross on it, and we see that there's a huge delay over the mother getting up and out of the car. I am assuming that this details deteriorating health of his mother, and we see as the clock passes, he too gets up in the car, off from the car, and walks in, and time just whizzes forward. Days, weeks pass, maybe symbolising a prolonged visit in hospital for his mother. This last bit where everything zooms out from the car, clueless. I have no idea what's meant to symbolise, and I feel I could be wrong in what a lot of that's meant to symbolise. But either way, I do sincerely hope that your mother is okay. If not, I'm really sorry. But that is the meditation. So Daniele Giardini, the creator of today's game, seems to be very fond of the more serious tone of video games. At least judging by his portfolio size anyway, from what I've seen. They generally seem to be much darker in tone, but the game that stood out to me as very interesting and quite unique is a game called Football Drama. There's a weird kind of Papers, Please feel to it, although I think I've probably got that wrong. It may just be the aesthetic style and how the game's presented. But regardless, it delves in the whole seedy, dirty underbelly of professional football teams. So there's like bribery, there's telling your team to take a dive, there's prostitution, there's God knows what else. It's a potentially dark story. Do you be a good aspiring role model for your players? Do you toe the line, or do you get underhanded? Do you get dirty? And I'm interested to see what stories it can tell. And I also just like the idea of a football story game that isn't as completely ridiculous as FIFA. So yeah, colour me intrigued. I really want to see how this game turns out. I'll leave a link below to Daniel's Twitter and to his portfolio site that's got all the other games that he's got on there. Like I said, they tend to generally take a darker tone, so if you're into that, definitely check it out. So a huge thank you to Daniel for making this meditation, and thank you for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.